What would it take for Donald Trump to become just the second U.S. president to serve a non-consecutive term in the White House? 538 has an interactive tool to answer that exact question. Their Swing-O-Matic shows what could happen in the 2024 race if President Joe Biden or former President Donald Trump gain ground with different demographic groups, and if turnout shifts among others. Now, this tool has taken data from the U.S. Census and various polls to estimate how different demographic groups, age, education, sex, income, and race would vote, and at what rate they may turn out in the 2024 election. Now, the starting map that you see to the right here displays the 2020 election results, adjusted for demographic shifts since then. Then Democratic nominee Joe Biden won with 303 electoral votes using 2024's electoral vote distribution to Donald Trump's 235. Biden secured 51% of the national popular vote to the then incumbent Republican president's 47%. In today's video, we are going to take a look at the 4 scenarios that 538 has created for us, and then in future videos, I will be customizing the data and the maps to various scenarios that I see as plausible based on trends in the polls. I also want to encourage you guys to comment down below any other scenarios you would like to see me explore in future videos as well. Before I do get started though, please make sure to subscribe to my channel down below. And while you're at it, feel free to check out the link to my sponsor, Nextiva, down here in the description and comment section below to get 50% off your plan. If you own a business that relies on effective communication with clients through phone calls or text messaging to close deals, you know how crucial it is to have a seamless system in place. But what if I told you that you could automate up to 90% of your interactions and eliminate 30% or more of your costs? Nextiva is offering my viewers 50% off their AI-driven platform that gives you seamless, personalized customer interactions across all channels. So if you are ready to take your business to the next level, lower your costs, and harness the power of AI, head over to trynextiva.com/election or click the link in the description below to get a quote today. Don't let poor communication hold you back like an unsuccessful presidential campaign. So this first scenario is titled Low Turnout and High Third-Party Vote Among Younger Voters. Now, early polls indicate that Biden might lose support among young voters, a critical Democratic voter bloc, over perceived inaction on issues like climate change, student debt, the economy, and perhaps most saliently at the moment, the Israel-Hamas conflict. Now, these voters might not vote, they might choose Trump or opt for a third party. And with that in mind, this analysis thereby considers an election scenario where fewer younger voters participate and more choose third-party candidates. In 2020, 61% of voters aged 18 to 29 supported Biden, 34% voted for Trump, and 5% for independents. These numbers are not surprising, as if there is one trend that has remained consistent throughout American electoral history, while older voters do tend to lean more conservative, younger voters have always tended to lean more liberal. And all of that being said, all it would take for Trump to flip Arizona, Georgia, and Wisconsin, the 3 closest states in the 2020 election, and thereby secure 272 electoral votes and an electoral college victory, is a 10% drop in young voter turnout and a 4% increase in third-party votes among this group. Remember that Biden really only won the 2020 election over Trump by approximately 43,000 votes. Had Trump managed to flip just 10,457 voters in Arizona, 11,779 voters in Georgia, and 20,682 votes in Wisconsin, he would be serving a second term right now. And so that makes the adjustments in each of these scenarios all the more plausible, given how close Trump came in 2020. A 10% drop in young voter turnout, down to 36% from 46% 4 years ago, would not be unheard of, nor would a 4% increase in third-party votes, considering that Biden is a historically unpopular incumbent, and voter interest in non-major party candidates is hitting near record highs right now. The second scenario provided by 538 is labeled non-college educated voters and non-white voters shift right. Now, educational polarization has become a defining trend in American politics over the last 20 years or so. The Democratic Party is increasingly relying on voters with a college degree, while Republicans depend on white voters without college degrees to secure national victories. In the 2020 election, for instance, Joe Biden carried voters with a bachelor's degree or higher by 24 points, while Trump carried white, non-college educated voters by 23 points. This is indeed a notable flip from how these two groups supported political parties even just 20 years ago. Consider that in the 2000 election between George Bush and Al Gore, Bush won college-educated voters by an 11-point margin. And this split was actually even more drastic previously, as Democrats had for a long time been the party of non-college-educated working-class voters, while Republicans held favor over those with college degrees. Now back to 2020 though, across all racial groups, Trump managed to capture 53% of non-college educated voters, compared to 45% for his opponent, Biden, suggesting that there is potential for even further Republican gains among this group. If Trump manages to extend his lead among non-college educated voters of all ethnic groups by as little as 2 points in 2024, he could potentially win 4 additional states beyond his 2020 results: Arizona, Georgia, and Wisconsin, plus Pennsylvania, the 4th closest state in 2020 that Biden carried by 1.2%. This would, of course, position Trump for a strong electoral college victory with 291 electoral votes. But with that being said, Trump's growing appeal among non-college educated voters is not necessarily confined to white people alone. He also made notable gains among non-college educated voters of color in 2020 as well, a trend that pre-election polls for 2024 suggest might continue. Non-white voters, traditionally strong supporters of Democrats with a 73% to 25% split in favor of Biden in 2020, could significantly impact the election if Trump increases his margin by just 3 points among this group, going from D plus 48 down to D plus 45. Combined with his previous gains, this could lead to Trump securing a 5th state, Nevada, Biden plus 2.4 in 2020, leading to a 297 to 241 electoral college win. Now, Nevada is notably the 5th most diverse state in the nation and the 6th least educated, with less than half of residents identifying as white alone, not Hispanic or Latino, and a relatively low 28% holding a bachelor's degree or higher, the lowest percentage actually of any Biden state in 2020. And with approximately a third of its population Hispanic, 11% Black, and 10% Asian, a pro-Trump shift among non-white Americans, especially non-white, non-college educated voters, would particularly hold weight in determining the electoral outcome in Nevada. And for what it's worth, the Rust Belt states of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin all rank inside the top 20 whitest states in the country, while Arizona and Georgia, also part of the Sun Belt alongside Nevada, both rank in the top 10 most diverse states as well, behind Nevada. They do, though, surpass Nevada in terms of educational attainment, though, with Arizona ranking 29th and Georgia 30th in proportion of residents with a college degree. Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin also fall within the middle of the pack in that category, ranking 24th, 33rd, and 29th, respectively. On to the third scenario now, labeled low turnout among non-college educated voters and white voters. Now, this scenario would predictably favor Biden. White non-college educated voters are Donald Trump and the Republican Party at large's best voting bloc, backing him by 23 points in 2020. These voters, of course, make up a large segment of the former president's most feverish supporters, his base. That being said, though, comparatively, non-college educated voters of all races back Trump by only 7 points. And with that in mind, 538's swing-o-matic analysis reveals that even if the turnout among all voters without a 4-year college degree drops by as much as 5 points, it does not alter the election outcome in any one state. Likewise, if the turnout among white voters, whom Trump won by a margin of 13 points in 2020, decreases by 5 points, the election outcome again remains unaffected. However, if we combine both decreases, where non-college educated white voters experience a combined 10-point drop in turnout, Biden would gain one more state compared to his 2020 results, North Carolina, with its 16 electoral votes, raising the incumbent Democrats' total to 319, over Trump's 219. Finally, the fourth and final scenario provided to us by 538 is titled Older Voters and White Voters Shift Left. Again, predictably, this trend would favor Biden and the Democratic Party. Now, while I mentioned earlier that early polls have suggested that Trump may be gaining among non-white voters, they have also indicated that Biden could make gains among seniors, voters older than the age of 65, a demographic that favored Trump by 12 points in 2020. If the Democratic margin among voters aged 65 and older were to increase by, say, 3 points, it would prove advantageous for Biden, widening his lead in the popular votes from 4.5 points to 5.3 points. However, this particular shift alone does not result in Biden winning any additional electoral votes. Rather, a trend to that extent among seniors, in addition to a 4-point pro-Biden swing among white voters at large, who again favored Trump by 13 points, would not only secure Biden North Carolina, but also Florida, the Sunshine State with its 30 electoral votes and the second highest percentage of seniors among its population, behind only Maine, would flip to Biden in this scenario, which would grant the incumbent Democrat 349 electoral votes and an 8-point lead in the popular votes. So there you have 4 different scenarios, 2 favoring Trump and 2 favoring Biden, in the all-important race to 270 electoral votes in the Electoral College. Again, please feel free to comment any suggestions for future videos using this tool and a deeper analysis on various scenarios in the future. That is all for this analysis, though. You can feel free to comment your thoughts and feelings about these maps in the comment section below. I appreciate all positive or negative comments. Also, make sure to let me know down there what other 2024 related videos you would like to see in the future. Shout out to my channel members on screen here. Thank you so much for your support. If you would like to become a member, go ahead and click the join button below this video to receive exclusive perks. Make sure to subscribe to my channel down below and please leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. You can check out more content from my channel here, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. EP out.